1, 2, 3.
My darling, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
And with that, the 2024 season comes to an end. Happy New Year's! Echi we say, Afishiapa, Afinko Betseye, Afisise na yejina yana, sina yenina, yahu, yawapumudin, like we're healthy. And, you know, all the blessings and the things we wish for will come to pass. So, as my first one-on-one on my channel, I wanted to do a reflection of the year 2024, go over some goals that I had for myself for 2024, the ones I was able to accomplish, the ones I was close to accomplishing, and then also share some of the lessons that I took out of the year 2024, some experiences and what I learned from it, and then also some things that I hope to accomplish for the year 2025. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so for 2024, one of the things that I wanted to accomplish was traveling to 4 countries. I was not able to hit 4, but I was close. I went to Cancun, I went to Ghana, and then I was able to go to Kenya. I was not able to fit in one more country, which is fine. I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to travel. It is a privilege that I recognize that I had to be able to travel, and I'm very grateful for that. I don't take it for granted. Another thing was I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and by the end of the year, I was hoping to have about 10 to 20 videos on the page and also about 100 subscribers. Yeah. That was a tough one. I procrastinated starting it. I was very nervous. And I pushed back until like a month or 2 ago. I was like, you know what? If I don't do it now, it's not gonna get done. So I did end up starting the channel, that's a check. I have, I think, 3 or 4 posts on my page, so I didn't hit the 10 to 20 mark. And I also have about 12 subscribers, if I'm right. So I also didn't hit the 100 subs. But on the brighter side, it's like about 10% of what I wanted, which I'm grateful for. Those are like the major goals that I had for myself. Another one was to complete a service project in the summer, which I traveled to Ghana to do an internship / research on autism. I was able to conclude that. I have to screen a film I put together, which is coming up this year, sometime in the early part of the spring semester. So keep updated on that. So I'll go into some of the lessons that I learned in 2024. So one, I would say a theme that had been very consistent and repetitive in 2024 for me was like staying in your comfort zone is pleasant, but stepping out of your comfort zone is rewarding. Sort of, that makes sense. But throughout 2024, I feel like last year was the year that I was able to fully step out of my comfort zone. I used to view myself as a full-on introvert, and only the people closest to me were the ones who saw my extroverted side. But 2024 challenged that notion that I had about myself, and I realized that I am actually an extrovert. I am a yapper. I love to talk. I don't know when to stop talking. And I don't know, it kind of feels like, wow, like where was this me, all these years, especially as a college student, when in a big institution like UConn where you're in classes with 100 to 200 students where professors are not looking for you, you have to seek out those relationships. Like, you have to put yourself out there, which I was very, very nervous about doing for like the past 3 years of my college experience. It felt intimidating to put myself out there because in my head, I believed if I put myself out there, then I was putting myself on a platter for people to judge me and people to criticize me and give me all this feedback that I was not sure I was ready to deal with. But 2024 actually helped me realize that I do thrive on feedback. The desire to learn is what kind of fuels my desire for feedback, and I did not know that about myself. So I was holding myself back by not putting myself out there. But 2024, I was able to put myself out there with my professors, with my friends, by taking up positions that required me to literally talk to people, socialize in a way that was not comfort to me. But then through both semesters, finding ways and techniques to push through and come out successful was like, it was very rewarding, because now I can look back on the 3 years of my college experience and be like, I'm glad I was able to do what I've done this year, even though some part of me wished I had come to this recognition earlier on. It's never too late for growth, and that's another lesson that I learned. It's never too late for growth. Growth is gonna come when you are ready for it, and it's just up to you to step up to the challenge and not saying no. I love a challenge. That's one thing I learned about myself this year, 2024, is that I love a challenge. I love something to challenge me, something that gets my brain going. Before, I used to associate it with math, because I know math equations, it gets you solving things. But it's not limited to math. It is who I am. I love a challenge. I love to get my brain working, you know. It gives me joy when I'm able to like overcome obstacles or like see past challenges and be innovative. It's very I find that rewarding for myself. So another thing that I learned from 2024 is that you need an anchor, and your anchor has to be whatever you choose or you think your anchor should be. That's like, at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide. But for me, I'm gonna share my experiences. For me, my anchor was Christ, and finding like-minded people who are Christians, believe in God, and are seeking to develop a deeper relationship with God. And that was my anchor for 2024, because I realized that like there are times that I went through some very deep stuff, and 2 years ago or 3 years ago, me would not have known how to handle it. Even now, I cannot handle some of the things that I went through in 2024 on my own without that Christ-centered community that I developed in 2024, having friends that I was able to go to when I was struggling, having that cornerstone in my life, which is God, and being able to pray and praise my way through all these challenges were like very essential for the growth that I experienced in 2024. So that's something I would like to that I felt the need to share, is like finding your anchor, being, for me, which I would encourage you if you are thinking about it, being rooted in Christ and making him your firm foundation really does make a difference. Another thing that I learned in 2024 was about friendships. Friendships require maintenance, like real bad. Friendships are work, platonic, You can even relate it to romantic relationships. They require maintenance, they require work. And a huge part of my friendships this year, like most aspects were tested, but the one that stood out to me was the ability to communicate boundaries that you feel you need to hold. Being able to communicate those boundaries to your friends is very crucial, because boundaries are sort of putting expectations between the relationship you have with you and somebody. If you're not able to communicate those expectations, you cannot hold the person to such expectations. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, if you're not expecting somebody to hold up a pen in your head and you have not communicated that with the person, that I want you to hold up a pen, you cannot be expecting the person to hold up a pen. They're not mind readers, So being able to communicate such set boundaries that you have with your friends really goes a long way, because then it makes them mindful when they cross boundaries that you have communicated with them. It makes them more conscious and aware when they cross those boundaries, and then it's easier for them to apologize. I recognize that I stepped on your foot. You have communicated that when I do such and such, or you do not like such and such, and I recognize by reflecting on my action that I did in fact do such and such, so I want to apologize for doing that. And then we can both come to the understanding of, you are my friend, you would not want ill for me, and whatever happened was not out of ill intent, and I recognize that you recognize that your actions hurt me, even though that might not have been the intentions to begin with, and then we can move forward from that. Something that I also kind of like going hand in hand with what I just said was that, like, as a person, you need to prioritize sort of reflection. As a human being, you need to prioritize reflection. You need, again, I keep saying, I feel like Dr. Umar. You need to prioritize reflecting on your actions, because there are certain things that we do that, again, no ill intent, until you reflect on it, on the situation or the context of what things happen, and then you begin to recognize that my action might have been seen a little insensitive, or I might have offended somebody that I did not mean to offend, and then you can go ahead and resolve conflict, or just resolve issues from there. Sometimes they're not even issues, but you reflect and you recognize certain patterns that you yourself have that you can decide to work on or change for the betterment of yourself. If you don't reflect, you don't know the patterns that you have that are fruitful for relationships that you have with people, or just fruitful for your growth as a person. And that's something that I think I kind of like resonated with me this year, that I held on to and did a lot this year compared to other years, was being able to reflect on the actions that I took and finding the nuances of such actions and finding patterns in my life to help me find the places I could grow and be better as a person. Okay, enough yapping, because if you give me the opportunity, I would probably go on for an hour and not stop talking. So, some goals that I have for myself for 2024, some of the major ones. The first one concerning this YouTube channel, my hope is that I am able to be consistent with this page. My goal is to post 50 videos by the end of 2025. Even though I couldn't even make the first 10 last year, I'm going to push it. I love a good challenge. That's about like one video each week. I want to build consistency, not just for like the channel, but for myself. That's something that I have recognized that I do have some sort of lacking in. I am hoping to hit 500 subscribers by the end of 2025. Again, a hard jump from last year's goal, which I did not hit, but I have faith. I am in a place that I need to be very financially wise in my decisions. So I am hoping to do micro trips instead of traveling outside of the US. Just being able to travel to other states. Hopefully, I want to graduate in May. I have one more semester. We're gonna finish hard. Another thing is I want to be very conscious about my health decisions, like the food I eat, the type of exercise that I do, the amount of sleep that I'm getting. Before, I would say last year, all those were things that I did care about, but I was not very intentional about making sure that I was getting enough sleep or like eating foods that are healthy and all of that. But for this year, 2025, I am hoping to be more intentional about my health choices. I think that's the theme for the year 2025. Being intentional with whatever I'm doing. Be it little, be it small. The intentionality behind my actions, I believe it's going to take me far in 2025. So that's the theme we're going for. Intention. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and write a letter to myself that I'm not going to open until the end of 2025. Okay, so I'm done with my letter. It's 2 pages. I'm gonna seal this and hide it. So now I could do my vision board. So I saw this lady on TikTok, I'm forgetting her name, but she did her New Year's goals in the form of a bingo. So you check off as you complete, and then when you get a bingo, you can get yourself something. I could do that. I'm tempted to do that. But we're gonna do the vision board and then I'll see if I have time to do that.